I saw this earlier. But basically, Aaron put out a thing on Lifeweaver. Director's Take, a continued look at Lifeweaver. Last Director's Take, we talked about the state of Lifeweaver and the changes that we were making to the hero in order to strengthen him. They had a positive effect, but they didn't do nearly as much as we'd hoped. We're going to continue that topic again this week. I'd like to take a look at some of these changes that we accomplished. What do we think he's missing, and some possible solutions we're looking at for the hero. Over the last few weeks, we've made a number of buffs, tweaks, and modifications to Lifeweaver. In short, we modified his control scheme, making it a bit more fluid and intuitive, and we buffed him across several different categories. We upped his healing ammo capacity, tightened the spread on his weapon, and buffed his ult. We saw a lift in his win rate across the game. At the lowest skill tiers, it was hovering around 45, but quickly dropped off at higher skill ratings. Okay, it's really bad. I think there's about 5 or 6 Overwatch streamers right now that are attempting to do Lifeweaver unranked to GMs, and a few of them actually quit because it was too hard. It was legitimately not possible. So that's the state of Lifeweaver right now. I think Fitzy went... I might be talking about my ads here. I think Fitzy went from Masters to Gold playing Lifeweaver. Which is so fucking funny, dude. It's so funny. The effects we thought these changes would have were difficult to work through since they coincided with the modifications to his control scheme. It is a little easier to estimate the sort of effect that a number change will have on a hero's performance, but estimating the power that comes from a more fluid control scheme is harder to do. We weren't sure how much it would change the hero's win rate, but we think we have a great base to build off of. Let's look at what some of those changes resulted in. Oh yeah, I had a video where I talked about it on stream where how I thought they could fix Lifeweaver. They basically just need to make his healing like Kiriko, so you don't have to charge it up. It just like charges itself, and then you can shoot out bursts. That way you can swap from DPS and damage, and then probably swap the weapon speed a little faster, because he just feels very clunky in that way. We increased the ammo capacity on his healing to provide higher throughput and increase the amount of healing that his ult does. This worked. He has one of the highest healing outputs in the game, including the highest at some skill tiers. So this is a great example, though, of why more damage / more healing doesn't actually mean more win games, because Overwatch is about utility. This aligns with our vision of the hero, and we're happy with where he's at. We also tightened the spread on his weapon, but this only marginally raised his skill in eliminations. You have to squint to see the change in our charts. Oh my god. Along with these stats, another piece of the puzzle is that Lifeweaver has one of the lowest, if not the lowest, death rate for support heroes in the game. This might seem like it runs counter to some of the commentary online that his hitbox is too big, but he is still taking consistent amount of damage in the middle to upper range of other supports. This just sounds like flawed data, in my honest opinion. This is also why making characters and balancing characters strictly off data is just really not a good idea, because you will have these discrepancies that don't make sense, because you can't account for the GM1 Adderall fueled up Tracer player who's going and absolutely just ripping people apart. Those players aren't going to pick Lifeweaver, they're going to swap. And the games that you're getting away with playing Lifeweaver probably aren't getting punished that much, if that makes any sense at all. Like the reason why people say his hitbox is so big is as you climb higher up, it's like you realize very fast that people aim better, and you're not going to get away with that shit. It's survivor bias. Yeah, if you've ever seen the there's a famous World War II thing study that was happening where engineers are trying to make bombers stronger. So what they were doing is they were studying planes that came back from battle that were full of bullet holes on where they should put more armor. So they were armoring the parts of the plane, or talking about armoring parts of the plane that were full of bullet holes, because, that's where they were getting shot. What they didn't take into account was all the planes that didn't make it home. So they had all these things that were showing, oh, these are all the points where they get shot, but they made it home. They didn't have all the data for all the ones that don't make it home, which was where they got shot other places. So it kind of sounds like, in some ways, with the people that are talking about commentary online, if the hitbox is too big, is most of those people probably aren't even going to pick the character because they know it's just a bad idea. And the times when they do pick the character, they're not getting spawn trapped on him. Like, if you're getting spawn trapped on him, you're going to swap, like, immediately. You know what I mean? So, to me, it just doesn't sound... Like, his hitbox is too big. He is as big as Zarya. It's not just commentary online. It is fact. I'm sorry. Okay, continuing. So we have a support hero that has one of the highest healing rates and one of the lowest death rates in the game. Yes, because stats don't paint the whole picture, right? That should be good, right? Overwatch is more than raw numbers. Okay, yeah, this is why it's an Aaron dev blog. Aaron understands that. He knows it's more than that. But still, end of the day, it's why there's other things that need to be considered. Overwatch is more than raw numbers. You get assigned to a hero's weapons and abilities. So players need a reason to pick one hero over another. For Lifeweaver, those reasons are supposed to be his utility abilities, life grip, and pedal platform. Both can be game-changing abilities, but they're also inconsistent. When they work right, they can change the state of a fight, but many times they're waiting to be used or not being used well, either by Lifeweaver or his team. So basically, they're kind of saying skill issues. That's actually kind of funny. When it comes to future changes for Lifeweaver, here's what we're thinking. We want to make it clear why players may select Lifeweaver over other heroes. If your current hero pick isn't working for some reason, whether it be map or enemy team comp, there's a strong incentive to swap to Lifeweaver. We may have... Wait. What's a strong incentive to swap to Lifeweaver? Good question, to be honest with you. We may make other changes along the way, such as lightly buffing his Thorn Volley and reducing hit volumes, but ultimately, we have changed targets at a further pronouncing... Oh wait, we have changes targeted... I'm dumb. At further pronouncing Lifeweaver's strengths and clearly defining his role on your team. This could be leaning harder into his healing effectiveness through a new passive or bringing additional benefits of some of his utility-focused abilities. With a defensive-based hero, we have to be careful on how far we go in terms of buffing raw healing and defensive abilities. Too far can negatively disrupt the overall flow of the engagement. These are some of the things we're iterating, and we hope to have the next set of changes ready for Season 5. Wow, so they're working kind of fast to fix them. With these changes, it's our hope that Lifeweaver will raise to his proper place among the heroes in Overwatch 2. Looking forward to the next director's take. Will be on a different subject, something a little bit more future-facing. So there's actually a very interesting thing. Is he said they're basically skill issue, you're not using the abilities properly. I would be kind of in favor of... lowering the overall health the pedal platform has from like 400 to 200 and then halving its cooldown. So right now it's on like a 13-second cooldown. You made it like a 6-second cooldown, because I've noticed most Lifeweavers use it to go up and then they just jump off immediately. Like, basically use it. Oh, I'm free now. Okay, let me come back down and help my teammates again. So if you made it so it was easier to kill the platform, it would be easier for dive targets to get onto him, making sure he can still be punished. But you would actually have more uptime for being able to get high ground engagement. So I think that's a good way they could do it. Touching the pull is very, very scary. And then I think you got to make the swap between his damage and his healing a lot more intuitive. So like right now, if you're doing damage, you have to swap to healing. Like you swap the thing over and then start charging it, charge it to full, and then throw it. It takes too long. It should be the second you swap back over, it's already charged, good to go, ready to do a 65 heal burst and throw a burst heal, and then it charges back up on its own. Like instead of holding it and charging it and taking time, I can burst, swap back out, damage, swap back over, burst, or just stay and go burst, 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 burst. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. That's what I think about it, but either way though, yeah, definitely needs some help, and this is also a great example as to why not just having more damage or more healing or whatever doesn't win you games. So